How's it going, YouTube? This is Kel2012. I did a video 2 days ago and the audio was completely screwed up, so I'm going to be taking that down as soon as I figure out how to do this on this new YouTube layout. I'm not sure exactly how to delete that video, so if somebody can give me a heads up on that, that would be great in the comment section. Okay, I'm going to kind of reiterate what I was talking about on the other video. We've all heard about the Kony2012 thing and so on, and you have to understand something about the YouTuber community. I've been doing YouTube videos. I haven't done any lately, but I've been doing YouTube videos for almost 5 years. One of the things that you have to understand about us is that we get ridiculed all the time, okay? Especially those of us who are part of the truther movement or the patriot movement, whatever you want to call us. If you want to call us, you know, idiots or things like that, that just shows your own ignorance. It's a dismissive statement and means that you don't even want to hear about it. So if you don't want to hear about it, just move on. There's a lot of other people that are really interested in the information that we have, because there's millions of us now. You know, when we first started this a few years back, there was a handful, a few thousand. Now there's literally millions of people waking up. And this is why. See, when we first started this movement, like I said, people used to ridicule us all the time. But people started to realize that a good 90% of us that put out videos pretty much have our facts straight, okay? That's how come mainstream media is losing viewers and we're gaining them. See, anytime we put out a video, we challenge all of the YouTube community to debunk us, okay? And that's legitimate, because honestly, 90% of us don't want to put out non-factual information. And so if we put out something and let's say one of our sources is, well, here's a good one. There was a Russian magazine newspaper that was putting out a lot of information and so on about a year ago, I think it was, and it was some pretty outrageous stuff and people were making videos on it. And then we realized that this magazine newspaper thing over there in Russia was kind of the Russian version of the Inquirer or the Star. And so anytime after that somebody would put out information from that source, other YouTubers would respectfully come out and say, hey bud, you know, here's the story with that source of yours, so just to let you know, FYI, it's probably not a real good reliable source. But other than that, you know, when we're talking about bills that are going through, when we're talking about oh for gosh, you know, like vaccines and fluoride and all of these other things, you know, GMO foods, Monsanto, you know, everything that we bring up, we can back up, and it's normally with either their own documentation, government documentation, documentation from universities, researchers, I mean, you name it. That's normally where we get our information from, and it's directly from those sources. And so that's how come when we do a video, we always tend to link you to the box below, because that's where our source material is. So we really do fact check quite a lot before we ever go out on a limb and put our face out there and put out information. Now, like with the Kony2012 thing, you know, everybody's getting upset with a lot of the YouTubers and so on because we're calling it a scam. And there's a reason why we're doing that. A lot of us utilize, when we're looking at something such as this, we kind of look at it from the aspect of problem, reaction, solution. Okay, this was a really big thing that happened. And so your problem, of course, would be Kony. Okay. Now, he's very well known, you know, for doing a lot of pretty harsh things. And I'm not saying he's a good guy by any stretch of the imagination. He did some pretty hardcore stuff. But, like the video, it only gave you about 10% of the information. And that's what they like to do when they come out with things like this, is they give you 10% truth. Okay, 10% truth. And like 90% fabrication. And if it's not 90% fabrication, they're just not telling you the other 90% of the information. Okay? The rest of that 90% of the information is things that are utilized to evoke emotion. Okay? Pull on the heart and all that kind of stuff. Okay? And you saw that in his video. And there are sources out there now stating that, you know, that video was actually made in 2003 and then just kind of edited up to finish up to put on YouTube. Okay? Then you had people coming right out saying you need to look at the Invisible Children organization. You know, it being a non-profit. Alright, now, like myself, I am, well, I own my own business. And I know how things like this work. The cool thing about a nonprofit is they have to show all of their expenditures and all the money that they're bringing in to the public, to anyone who wants to see it. Well, you've only got 3 people in there that are the heads of everything, you know, and one of them's making $89,000 a year, the other one's making $84,000 a year, the other one's making $82,000 a year, and if you look at them, they're all, you know, basically the CEO type thing. Then you've got, you know, the head film director and head film editor and all this kind of stuff. Well, what's interesting is these people have their pay scale, and then if you look at the expenditures, you notice where, oh, well, it costs this much to edit the film, it costs this much to direct the film, and all of this kind of stuff. But that's that's separate from how much these guys were getting paid on their annual salary. So if you add all those things in, they're getting a heck of a lot more per year than $89,000, $84,000, and $82,000. And not to mention all of their travel expenses, hotels, meals, the whole 9 yards. Okay, and not all of that money was spent in, you know, just heading straight to Uganda. Okay. You know, they were spending a lot of money bouncing around all over the United States getting support and all that kind of stuff. You know, staying in nice hotels and everything else. You know, this isn't a grassroots, it may have started off as a grassroots idea, but there's a lot more to that story. Okay? And all people on YouTube that are debunking this video, all they're asking you to do is do the research yourself. They've gone out and they've done a ton of it for you. Okay? And if you keep looking, you'll find out all sorts of information about Uganda and the Ugandan president and the Ugandan economic situation and how they're right now just ready to start exploiting, you know, mining and drilling and all that kind of stuff. And they've got, you know, multiple international companies that are more than willing to get in there and help them, and so on and so forth. And of course the United States wants in with all of their stuff, you know. So what are they going to do? Well, we're going to send the troops in, because if we send the troops in, then we have control around that area. And if you don't think that's happening, go see what's happening, you know, in Afghanistan. All right, go see what's happening in Iraq and everything else. I mean, you know, you've got hundreds of thousands of people dying over there. Women, children, everything else. This is supposed to be a thing to help save the children, alright? You know, the Ugandan people aren't even getting jobs on these oil rigs or mining setups and stuff like that. These are all, you know, companies that are bringing their own people in. The people of Uganda can't even get a straight answer from their president on exactly how this money is going to be spent, how all of this stuff is going to be utilized for the Ugandan people. Alright? So, you know, before you start dogging everybody for second guessing or calling BS on this thing, check it out. You've got a lot of Ugandan people coming on and doing videos saying, I don't know about this. Okay? Problem, reaction, solution. You're getting 10% of the truth in the problem. Then you're getting the reaction. They're directing you with the emotion-driven video to get the reaction that they're wanting. And the solution? They say their solution is aid. Aid to the Ugandan people to help get Kony and get him arrested and everything else. Aid. Well, let me tell you something. When it comes to the United States and aid, you'll probably get about 10% aid and 90% exploitation. If you question that, go over to Afghanistan. See how much aid they've gotten and how much exploitation has taken place there. Go to Iraq. See how much aid has been given and how much exploitation has taken place. Don't talk to the press. Talk to the people. Alright? We're just asking you to do the research and, look it up for yourselves. We've given you a direction to go. Google is wonderful for all this stuff. Okay? Any search engine will work. Spend a half hour and call bullshit on us if you can. Alright? Because that's what we do on YouTube. If we can call bullshit on a video, we will. Alright? There's a lot of stuff going on right now. Why would they do this? Well, number one, for the resources over in Uganda, especially with the president of Uganda ready to really get in there and do something with it. And it adds as a really good smokescreen for the election, because as of today, protesting of governmental events is now illegal because Obama signed Bill H.R. 347. Okay? Look it up. You tell me how you'd define that. Just look it up. Alright? There again. Prove me wrong. Alright? The NDAA Act. The Expatriation Act. All of these things have taken place in a very short time period. Okay? You've got a sheriff and, what he calls a posse, or a group of 20 investigators, professional police trained investigators, donating their time, and they have come to the conclusion, without a shadow of a doubt in their minds, that Obama's birth certificate is a fraud. Okay? They are not blaming Obama, but they are saying that the birth certificate that was presented by the White House on the White House website is a fraud. Okay? We went into Libya against the wishes of Congress. We're now being told that we may be going into Syria. Our Congress is being told by Panetta and the generals and Obama that they don't need Congress to declare war. They don't need their approval to declare war or anything else, because they are being run by the UN and NATO. That's who they take their orders from. You don't believe me? Check it out. Alright? Google it. There's a big reason why they're pulling this Kony 2012 thing. And they're going to pull a few other things, trying to throw smoke screens, trying to do sleight of hand to get people off of what's going on here in the United States. There are millions of people out there that are woken up. Alright? Millions. But there's still a hell of a lot of you out there that aren't. Just trying to bring a little light to this, and I hope you understand. This is Kel 2012. God bless. I'm out.